Hey house guests, welcome to today's BB Can updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Beth Morgan. Woo, Beth! You the best. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it so much. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so yesterday they had the Power Veto competition. It was called Highway to Spell. Was there a hell theme? I hope so. The Canada franchise does it so well. So this was hosted by Bruno, and the players, we had the 2 nominees, Gary and Dre, and then 4 extra players, Emily, William, Kevin, and Netta. And guess what? Netta won, so haters keep on hating. Alright, so after the competition, Netta and a bunch of her crew, minions, whatever you want to call them, Kevin, Bruno, Emily, Dylan, and Jackie were all hanging out talking, and Netta's like, she's got some theories here. She thinks that this next HOH is going to be the sole vote to evict this week, which is correct. But then she took it a little too far. She was like, I think that the HOH winner is also going to be, you know, next week's HOH, and they're going to nominate 2 people. What? That's a lot of power. But anyway, no, she got the first part right. So this group establishes, like, yes, Gary is still the target this week, and Netta's like, yeah, he already approached me, and he was like, let's talk soon. So we got that to look forward to. And Netta lets them know she's not planning on using the power veto. So then they're trying to figure out, like, if the HOH theory is correct and that they would be the sole vote for the week, you know, who would the other side save? Because they've already agreed they're all going to vote out Gary. So if, like, William won, obviously he would probably vote to keep Dre. If Karen won, who freaking knows? You know, it's kind of up in the air right now. But then Netta reminds everyone, you know, just be cool, because the fans really don't like when one group has too much power and, you know, you get all cocky. She's got to expect that, like, things are not all sunshine and rainbows out here, right? With her reputation. I'm just saying. Okay, so then Netta and Bruno were chatting one-on-one, and they're really feeling sketched out by Ica and Dimitri's. There's, like, huge rift in the group of 6 again, because Ica and Dimitri's really showed their allegiance when they voted for Emily and Dylan to go up on the block instead of Dre and Gary, which everybody else did. So their group of 6 is not happy about that. So Netta and Bruno are thinking, well, we've got this thing going now with Emily and Dylan. We can use them to go after Ica and Dimitri's, so we don't have to do it. So then they're thinking, if this Black and Saints alliance is exposed, we'll just tell Ica and Dimitri's that we created it because they were playing both sides. So a little bit of revisionist history going on with that timeline, eh? But yeah, they really want to cover up those butts. So then they go back to talking about this week, and they say, again, they're trying to figure out who would vote for who to go, you know, depending on who wins HOH. And they're thinking Karen is, like, the only one who would keep Gary this week. And part of me, well, a huge part of me is like, I really hope that Karen wins HOH. How amazing would it be if freaking Karen won and then saved Gary? Don't get me wrong, I think that Dre is a really interesting and, like, exciting player because I think she's really intelligent. She made some dumb moves in the past week or 2, but I want to see her play, but at the same time, I really don't want to lose Gary. So it'd be fun to see Karen save him. But anyway, Ica, Cindy, and Netta were chatting at the dining room table last night, and I think this was, like, the first conversation that the 3 of them really had since the vote for the nominations, because there's all that tension in there. So Ica's trying to smooth the whole vote thing over, and she's like, wow, I was in a really good spot before that twist, and now, that wasn't great for me. And they're like, yeah. So Ica's saying, at least on the plus side, the other side of the house isn't gonna realize that I'm working with you guys. Like, it seems like I'm fully working with them now. So then she's also taking credit for the other side targeting Emily and Dylan instead of Bruno and Kevin. She's like, did you notice, like, they didn't get that many votes? I think Bruno got 1. I'm not sure if Kevin got any. But Cindy didn't get any, and obviously Netta's still safe at this point. But she's like, I've been working them like my rent is due tomorrow. She really likes that line, and so do I. But she's taking credit for that. So Ika's telling them, like, I have your backs. I've been working my butt off, so don't be mad at me. And she also tells them this is the second time she's caught Kevin lying to her. You know, he lied about voting for Karen this week, and then whoop, there were no votes for Karen, so how could Kevin have voted for her? So she's just like, keep that in mind, all right? You can't really trust Kevin. All right, so Dre is really struggling this week. She had a tough time last week with her campaigning for Cass to stay, even though she says that she didn't. But this week, she's up on the block, you know, she's in the hot seat, and usually when you're up on the block, you gotta do some butt kissing to stay safe, but she's not about that. She doesn't want to be fake. So she was venting to Cindy and Karen, and she was like, I just hate being fake, and I hate fake people. And she's like, you know who's really fake? Jackie. She lies all the time, and she may not look like a liar with her beautiful smile and her hair and whatever, but she is. Oh my gosh, Dre is on this again. She's on it again. So then Dre's like, I understand that I'm up on the block because I was close with Cass and because Jackie was spreading lies about me. She cannot get off of this Jackie thing. But Dre also denies campaigning for Cass last week. Are you serious? Like, no. Everyone knows. So she starts getting really emotional. She starts crying. More talk about Jackie. Like, I understand you don't have to like everyone, and I think it's totally fine that she's against Jackie, but Jackie's not up on the block next to her. So I don't see how bad-mouthing Jackie is going to help her. What if Jackie wins HOH and is the deciding vote this week? You know, you got to be careful with that. So then she pulls out the I don't have blonde hair and blue eyes. Ah! Dre! Don't do this. Don't do it. All right. Anyway, I'm going to move on. So Gary and Kevin were in bed together last night. That's how they like to do their game chats, it seems like, which is cool. So Gary is telling Kevin, this was actually really weird, the chat part, because Gary was being, like, aggressive in this chat, and, like, he's the one up on the block, but he's telling Kevin, like, you're not giving me enough in this relationship, and, like, I'm putting my butt out there, and I'm working hard for you, and, like, what are you doing for me? Are you playing me? And Kevin's like, whoa, no. And Gary, like, accuses Kevin of throwing the POV competition. Oh, what was the word? I think it was, like, risen or something, and Kevin spelled it with 2 S's, and Gary was like, you really thought it was spelled with 2 S's? So he's really pissed about that, but Kevin's like, I'm insulted that you even would ask me if I threw that. So he's saying, like, I want you to stay this week, so he's telling Gary, you gotta try and get Netta to use the veto on you. So Gary's like, well, I don't know, like, is it even worth it? You know he's gonna try, but Gary's saying, there's a lot of people, Kevin, on your side that want me out. What's going on? And Kevin's like, I know. I'm trying to convince them that Dre is a bigger target. Don't worry. We're good. So then the strategy chat kind of ends when Dylan hops into bed with them, and it is a Gary sandwich. Okay. So then Gary is making moves. He was talking to Netta, trying to get her to use the veto. They were talking in the tunnel between the indoor backyard and the actual, like, open area open area by the hot tub. So in that creepy tunnel thing. So Gary's like, I want you to know, I was not campaigning for Cass last week. No one wants to own up to campaigning for Cass last week. So Gary's asking her, like, would you use the veto this week? And Netta's like, I don't know. That would make a lot of people mad at me. I don't know if that's such a good idea for my personal game. So she tells him, like, you should go around to the rest of the house, tell them that you weren't campaigning last week because that's really hanging a lot of people up. So Gary's like, well, I want to work with you. Like, you know that, right? Even though we're not on the same side, we could have something, like, way underground. Like, meet me in the dumpster kind of thing. So Gary's telling her, like, he said this before, we're the two that deserve it the most to be in the end together because we made it the furthest on our seasons. Okay. So Netta's like, let me think about it, aka no. Alright, so then Ika and Gary were talking in the pink room, and Ika has become, like, the Grim Reaper, and if she comes to you and tells you, like, you don't have the votes, you're going home. So Ika lets him know he's the target this week, And Gary's like, wait, what? I thought Dre was the target. I think he was serious. Like, he didn't realize he's the target. So Ika's like, no, Netta doesn't like you. So Gary's like, well, I was just talking to Netta before, and she told me that I would be fine if I could convince everyone that I wasn't campaigning for Cass last week. And Ika's just like, no, she doesn't like you. It's not gonna happen. So Gary's like, well, I can't see myself leaving like this. Like, you know, he's thinking, production's gotta step in. So Ika is saying, well, right now you only have me and Dimitri's. Like, everybody else is probably gonna vote to keep Dre. So Gary's like, well, I'm not gonna go down without a fight. He's gonna try and make some moves here. So then a few minutes after telling Gary that he only has herself and Dimitri's, Ika's whispering with Dre and telling her that she has her and Dimitri's vote this week. Damn, girl, you move fast. Alright, so then Ika and Dimitri's were having a strategy chat, and Ika is like, we gotta freaking watch out for this alliance of 6 that we're in, because, you know, this vote was really bad for us. It really kind of exposed us. We were in a really good spot, and now, not as much. So Ika's saying Netta will definitely want to keep Dylan and Emily around for as long as possible, because they're not targeting her. She can use them to get rid of other people like us. So she would definitely want to keep them over us. So they're pretty nervous about that. They also feel that Netta's safety is BS. They're like, it's kind of crappy that she's safe and she gets to compete in all these competitions and she gets to vote. It's not like she asked for it. You know, she didn't know it was coming. But I mean, I see why they're frustrated. So then they're like, yeah, Netta is getting out everyone who's targeting her, and she's building an army. I just don't understand how people can be like, oh, Netta's like a total jerk and she's not playing fair or whatever. When you get everyone out that's targeting you, isn't that playing the game? Like, why would you not want to do that? I don't understand. But anyway, they agreed that they want to take out Dylan the first chance they get, because they can tell he's really mad that they nominated him, and there's still that beef from like week 1 between Dimitri's and Dylan. And guess what? Dylan and Emily were talking last night about taking out Dimitri's and Ika the first chance they get. And they told Bruno about that, and Bruno was like, yeah, sounds good, because Bruno's like really weird about Ika now. So the Dimitri's and Ika showmance is in full swing now, and people have even started calling them Demika. I mean, on the message boards, not in the house yet. I think that's how you would say that, Demika. I want to say Demika because it's just funner, but whatever. Alright, so they were freaking kissing under the covers last night, and I mean like making out, and there were other people in the room. I would be really surprised if nobody noticed that, because it was pretty obvious. But anyway, today, Netta and Bruno were catching up in the storage room, sharing some information, and Netta's like, alright, I talked to Ika, and she was trying to smooth things over, trying to tell me that it was a good thing that they voted for different people, because now it looks like they're not working together. So Netta and Bruno agree, like, they're just gonna keep playing along with it, but they know that they can't really trust Demika anymore. Not the same as it was before. So Bruno also mentions that he was talking to Dylan and Emily, and they're going to be targeting Dimitri's and Ika if they win HOH next week. And Netta's like, no! Because she wants to get rid of Dre and William first. She's like, those two are definitely coming after us. Whereas it would probably be a while before Dimitri's and Ika actually made a move like that. You know, it would be pretty bold if they went after Netta and Bruno and all of them right away. So she feels like they got to get rid of Dre and William first. And I got to say, again, if she can pull this off and say like Dylan or Emily won HOH next week and they put up William and Dre instead of Dimitri's and Ika, that would be pretty huge, right? Alright, so then this morning, they found out that they were going to be having the power veto ceremony. It's really fast this week. So Dre was talking with Netta, and she's like, look, I don't expect you to use the power veto on me. And then she tells Netta, you're aligning yourself with the people who have the prettiest faces and the prettiest smiles. Really? Really, you're going to go there again. So she's like, I wasn't campaigning for Cass last week. she's always talking about how she hates liars and fake people. Just freaking own it. I think they would respect you for that, but okay. So then they also talk about how Gary's a liar. Netta does agree with that, and she tells Dre, like, look, I want you to stay this week. Gary is my target. So then Dre starts throwing Jackie under the bus more, and I'm thinking again, like, why would you do that? You're not up on the block against Jackie! So then they have the power veto ceremony. Netta did not use it, which means that either Gary or Dre will be going this week. And then the feeds went down for hours today. And when they came back, it sounds like it had something to do with the have-nots. I don't think they had like a full-on competition. I think it was one of those things where they gave each house guest a certain number of like tokens, and they had to allot those to different house guests to decide who were going to be the have-nots for the week. So you would think like the person with the most or the 4 people with the most tokens would be the have-nots, but it's April Fool's, so it sounds like the 4 people with the least tokens are the have-nots this week. And it sounds like Big Brother may have freaking topazed everyone and shown the whole house everyone's deliberations when they Mom just went, oh no, when they were choosing who was going to be on Slap this week. So that's pretty freaking crazy. Bruno was pissed. He was like, oh, I don't think that we should be freaking punished for trying to play the game. Like, I'm not going to give them anything now. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. Like, he's talking about how he's not going to be exciting anymore. Bruno. Okay, but anyway, yeah, we haven't gotten the full picture on that yet, so I'll have more on that tomorrow, but that's what it sounds like happened so far. Jackie was also really upset. I don't know who the have-nots are yet, but I'll have that for you tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until next time, much love.